Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to the Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography and what is our topic today? Heat buzzer. That is the most important topic according to the chapter insulation and temperature. The heat buzzer. The insulation is made up to the energy transmitted directly through the atmosphere and scattering energy. Insolation is the amount of the solar radiation that reaches the earth as a surface through the short wave. The earth also irradiated heat energy like all other hot objects. This is known as the terrestrial radiation. That is called to the terrestrial radiation. The earth is also radiate the heat energy like all other is a hot object. This is known as the terrestrial radiation. The annual mean of temperature on the surface of the earth is a way constant. It has been possible because of the balance between two insolation and terrestrial radiation. And this balance is a termed as the heat budget of the earth. Here show the diagram. The heat budget is a balance between the insolations and terrestrial radiation. There is a most important diagram shown in this picture. Atmosphere, space, incoming radiation and the total reflected radiation and the absorbed the earth here and outgoing radiation related to the atmosphere. There is a most important here diagram, the heat budget. Let us suppose that the total heat is incoming solar radiation received at the top of the atmosphere is a 100 unit. Roughly 35 units of it are reflected back into space. That is important. That is atmosphere is top of the 100 unit, but roughly 35 units of are there reflected back into space. Even before the reaching the surface of the earth, out of this 35 unit is a 6 unit are deflected back to the space from the top of the atmosphere. 27 unit deflected by the cloud and 2 unit from to the snow and the ice is a covered surface. There is important here. Out of the remaining 65 unit is 135, only 51 unit reach the earth as a surface and 40 unit are absorbed by the various gases. They are dust particle, water vapor and the atmosphere. There is a most important point here. The earth is turned or radiated back to 51 unit in the form of terrestrial radiation. Out of this 51 unit of terrestrial radiation and 34 unit are absorbed by their atmosphere and the remaining 70 unit directly go to the space. The atmosphere also radiated to the 48 unit, the 14 unit of incoming radiation and 34 unit of the outgoing radiation is absorbed by it and back to space. Thus, the 65 unit of solar radiation entering the atmosphere are reflected back into the space. And this amount of the incoming and outgoing radiation a way to maintain the balance of the heat on the surface of the earth. And the point here, the heat budget is a balance between two insolation is the incoming solar radiation and terrestrial radiation. That is an important point here. Through their earth is a wall maintenance balance between to the incoming solar radiation and outgoing terrestrial radiation. But this is not true. But we observe at a different latitudes. As previously is discussed, the amount of insolation is received is directly related to the latitudes. In the tropicals is a regional, the amount of insolations is there higher than to the amount of terrestrial radiation. Hence, there it is the reason of the surplus heat. In the polar region, the heat gain in a less than the heat loss. Hence, it is the reason of the defect of heat, and thus the insolations is a create an imbalance of the heat at a different altitude. And this is been to the nullified to some extent by the winds and ocean current, and which transfer heat from surplus heat region to the deficit or heat region, and this is commonly known as the latitudinal heat balance. So here show the most important diagram here, latitudinal heat balance. there is a show of equator and north pole and incomings and the surplus and the deficit and outgoing. There is the most important latitudinal heat balance shown in this diagram. There is important here.